guys, how's it going? We are starting our project off in the evening hours, which is not typical. We're out here in the Dirtlands. It's just starting to get in the shade, which is going to be perfect. It got really hot today, close to 100, and tomorrow's supposed to be 103. So I figured we'd fit in a little bit of work this evening and then a little bit of work in the morning. In fact, earlier today, I got out and harvested some blackberries. It isn't our first harvest, but it was a pretty sizable one. So tomorrow, after we get our morning project done, I thought we'd go inside and make some Blackberry cheesecake ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Is that an enthusiastic ooh yeah from Samantha back here? But look at this, you guys. The corn in the Dirtlands looking amazing. And I actually just saw, which one did I see it on? So, oh, right here, it's starting to tassel. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Isn't that awesome? My cheerleading section right here. This is ambrosia, which is a bicolor yellow and white corn. It's super good. Right beyond that, we've got all of our sunflowers, which I was just noticing some color right here. Oh, look at this. These are the Pro Cut plums. They're always the first ones out. It's been fun having this patch out here. I thought I would show you how these things are doing. Our project is actually to weed this bed. So I can't even call it a bed. It's a row. It starts right there. It goes all the way to the fence. We've got dahlias, rudbeckia, feverfew, gomphrena. We've got our artichokes right here that are looking good, but look at our crop of buttonweed. It's like mostly buttonweed and a little bit of crops that I actually want. Our zinnias are coming up super thick. So this is the work that we have before us. So I've got my kneeling pad and a pair of gloves in here. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't mind, especially in a tilled area that's moist, weeding. It's not usually that hard of a job. But I also wanted to show you our ranunculus bed. Like if you have ever dealt with bindweed, you know what this is like. This has just completely taken over. And if we get our row done over here, I would like to come through and pull up or dig up ranunculus corms because the ranunculus are in here. We just need to weed out the bindweed. You can see I kept up on it for a little while and then I just let it go because I knew the ranunculus weren't going to really do much. We got a few flowers, but they've all died back. They're yellowed. Foliage is yellow. Look at this. That's what you want to look for. You want to leave your ranunculus out until they look like this, much like a spring flowering bulb. They soak in the sunshine and it energizes the corm for the next season of bloom. So we'll get those all dug out either tonight or some other time, depending on this project. Then our potatoes, they look awesome. Look at how healthy. My goodness. I've seen lots of blooms already, and some of them actually look like they're starting to die back a little bit. I wonder, let's see what we can find here. Soil is pretty tough. Well, there's a little potato. Another one. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good harvest out here. Later on though, we're not doing that now. We're gonna wait till the bulk of them have died back and look a little bit more like this plant does. Only a few of the branches look like that. And our onions are looking great, robust. They are bulbing up. You can see right in here, starting to see some activity. Probably need to get in here and fertilize. This bed could use some weeding as well. But look at all of that. They're looking so good. And the beginning of this row, we have most of the dahlias are up. Well, a lot of the dahlias are up. I guess you couldn't say most, but anyway, we'll know better once the buttonweeds have been eradicated from this space. Benjamin's out here using the Merlin Bird app.
Yep. Merlin Bird app.
Yep. Nothing yet? You just turned it on, huh? Oh, house sparrow. Yep. Very nice. Rudbeckia showing a little bit of color. There's a little bit more. These were itty bitty when we planted them out. Gomphrena has started to bulk up. Well, our feverfew also bulking up, but there's a lot of bulky weeds in there too. Anyway, so weeding this one row is pretty much the goal for tonight. Now, Paul ran to Far West Nursery in Boise. Aaron and I went there last week. We picked out a few trees, and Paul went and picked them up today. One of them is a B&B. It's a Baldwin burlap. It's a beautiful larch, and we would like to plant that first thing in the morning tomorrow. So that will be our project in the morning before we start our ice cream project. So anyway, we're just going to bring you along for whatever it is that we're going to do over the next day and a half or so. I'm also not going to do this like from start to finish. This side's still in the sun, so I'm just going to do the shady spots right now, and then I'll bounce to the sun when it gets maybe a little bit darker outside. Okay, so here we go. Artichokes look a lot bigger when they're not surrounded by weeds. Well, it took just under an hour and a half to weed the whole row. That's what we got done tonight. No ranunculus, we'll do that another day. Got something in my eye about halfway through, so it was watering most of the time, but we got it done. And look at how much better it looks. I bet you anything these plants are going to absolutely explode. Now that they are not competing with weeds for moisture and light and nutrients, I should come along here and fertilize everything. But my word, like you can actually see individual plants. These are all the feverfew plants right here. You can see the gomphrena. Next, some of the, I think this is raspberry cream, and there's orange. And our Rudbeckia are looking a little bit iron deficient, so we'll probably treat those with some chelated iron. Even the weeds in a few of the sections were iron deficient. See this right here? And some plants are just more prone than others. So they'll get yellow leaf tissue while the veins stay dark green. It's easy enough to treat. We just use the EDDHA chelated iron, and that kicks them right out of it usually. And the nicest part too about this whole project, other than the fact that the soil is pretty fluffy, is that I was able just to throw weeds everywhere as I went. There are 2 labs running around in our garden right now. They're right by the pond. Okay, I don't know whose they are. Oh, we're gonna go track them down. Hopefully they're not after our fish. That would make me extremely irritated. They're in the pond up there. Oh, the audacity. Footprints right here. Oh, there they are. Okay. Oh, they're coming back over onto our side right now. Okay, well, Erin is dealing with that. Trying to figure out which way they're going. But anyway, I'm happy that the weeds are done. And we will be back tomorrow to plant the most beautiful larch tree. I cannot wait to show you. Good morning, you guys. It feels good to start out fresh here this morning for our next project, which is planting this beautiful larch tree. This is a recurved larch that doesn't get super big, so it's going to be very easy to tuck in, but it's already a good size to start off with. In fact, let me show you what we ended up with from this tree shopping trip, which we did on a whim, by the way. We were already over in Boise doing some other errands, and we decided to stop at Far West to look specifically for a blue sky Serbian spruce. like the one we have up in our front kind of entryway flower bed. It's one of my favorite evergreens. They did not have one, but they had other gorgeous things. Now the larch you're seeing tipped over because it is in a big B&B root ball. That's why we're so concerned to get it in the ground right away. But look at how gorgeous the needles are and the little cones. And it grows about, I want to say 12 by 8. If I'm wrong, we'll pop it up on the screen. It just doesn't get super, super big. Loses its leaves in the fall. It turns kind of a bright yellowish color before it does that. But even the trunk kind of has a little bit of a twistiness about it while still being upright, which you'll be able to see better once we have it tipped upright. We also got some Leyland cypress, which when Paul was over there, he actually sent me a picture. I hadn't picked those out, nor did I pick out the Weeping Alaskan Cedars, but he knows I like both of them. And they were running a 25% off sale. So I told him to pick out 3 of each. So we've got a Leyland cypress here, and there's another one, I think, toward the front. And there are 3 Weeping Alaskan Cedars, which will be easy to find a home for in our landscape because they're so beautiful. Aaron and I picked out this red bud, which is the Midnight Express. I wonder if it's gonna be, or how similar it will be to the forest pansy that we have out in the garden. But this one grows 20 to 30 feet tall and 10 to 20 feet wide. So it does get bigger than the forest pansy, zone 5 through 9. But look at the beautiful foliage. Paul was a little concerned about this one last night. He said he watered it 3 times before he left because this one did not take the trip very well, but it looks great this morning. So I'm happy about that. And then we also ended up with 2, now I'm not sure how to say this name. It's Berliner Serbian spruce, Berliners. Right here, it grows 30 by 10, which is awesome because 10 feet wide, height usually doesn't matter. It's the width that matters when you're tucking things in. So we've got a couple of those. Anyway, we're gonna go find a spot out in the landscape to pop the larch tree, and the rest of them we're just going to unload somewhere out here, and we will plant those on not a day that gets 103 degrees. Our forecast for the next 10 days, it's gonna go back into the low to mid 90s, and then it's gonna pop back up into the hundreds toward the end of it. So maybe tomorrow or the next day we can get these in and get them going before it's the temps over 100. After that, I have to run to the store because I thought I had cream cheese for this blackberry cream cheese ice cream or blackberry cheesecake ice cream, but I do not. So we'll do that. We'll get the ice cream going right after. But I'm so thankful that we got after it last night and that I'm not out in the dirtlands weeding today because it's already hot out here and it feels kind of muggy, which we're not as used to. I melt in the humidity, big time. There's Paul with the auger. So we could easily pop it in anywhere out here in the dirtlands, but I want to go see if there's a spot out in the south garden where we might like to tuck it in. We just have to make sure that it's a spot we can access with the auger. The brick columns are almost finished, or pillars. Cannot wait. They're looking awesome. Guys are working on it right now. We're filling up out here. It's a pretty little area. Pretty much has to go in along the edge somewhere if we were to plant it out here. Okay, hold on. Hold on, you guys have to see this. Look at the Formal Flower Garden annual plantings. If I just kind of slow pan, the Plain the Blue Salvia is phenomenal. It's going to be a hard one to beat out here. The pollinators absolutely adore it. And the Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Veined, I just meant for it to do exactly what it's doing right now. It's just kind of intermingling down below. So you don't see it, as you're driving so much. You see it as you walk up upon it. And I kind of like that you don't necessarily, you're not given the full picture all at once, especially once boxwoods form a hedge. But I'm happy with our placement too. There's still plenty of space in between the salvia and the boxwood. Did not want the salvia, laying over the top of the boxwood at any point, but yeah, it's looking awesome. So thrilled with this space. Oh no, I mean, there's space in there, but this locust tree, which needs to be trimmed up a little bit, it's going to take up all the space eventually, so we don't want to pack that in there too much. Another quick pretty view. Everything's just so fresh in the morning. Look at these Miss Violet Buddleia. And as we cruise this direction, you can see the betony looking beautiful. And just this whole border looking gorgeous. Okay, stay on task. That ice cream needs several hours in the freezer. So anyway, we want to get this done so we can get the ice cream done in time to be able to eat it this evening. You guys, I'm actually thinking, yes, we've got a heritage birch tree right here. We're out here in the Dirtlands, or the beginning of it. This is where we were last night weeding. But I'm wondering if we pop it in somewhere right in here, because we have a perfect purple crabapple, which has more reddish leaves. It's grown kind of weird, but hopefully it'll, I don't know, work itself out. But I'm thinking, what if we pop it like right here? Because it can tuck in behind the Rose of Sharon. There's some hibiscus coming up. I mean, there's plenty of different spots out here where we can pop it. It's just such a pretty tree that I want to make sure that it's like, you know, seen. And then on this side, we are going to be putting a gate in right here. So, I mean, we could pop it to this side of the gate or even tuck it in right here. We are going to put more of a like canopy shade sort of deciduous tree in this spot. So I don't really want to put it too close to this area. It's getting harder, Aaron, a little harder, at least for the main garden.
You want to put it right here?
Well, I was thinking, so the gate's going to go here, and this tree only gets 12 by 8, so we could pop it right in here. Or we could pop it out, like right in here, and put something taller.
The only thing we have to watch for is
the line closer to the...
Yeah, there's a line going basically right underneath here.
Okay. Well, we're putting a more of a shade sort of situation right here.
Shade tree?
Yeah, canopy tree. We could pop it right in here. I don't know though, I wonder in the afternoon, it might do real well if we put it like right here because it'll get shade.
Sure. Yeah, you wanna?
Yeah, I think this might be a good spot, you guys, because we've got a big blue spruce.
What are you gonna put behind it?
Well, it only gets 12, so we could put something like a sweet gum, you know, it's a sweet gum, or something that gets taller than 12.
Okay.
That's more of a point, maybe a hornbeam or something.
We won't be able to get back there. We'll have to dig it by hand.
That's fine. But if we put it right here, would this shade it in the afternoon?
No, because the sun's over here. So this would get shade because the sun is going to set over here. It goes like
You're
this.
right. Well, that's okay.
So you want to put it back?
Do you think so?
How tall does it get?
12?
Oh, no, you probably want to bump it up.
What if we put it in the front area? Let's go up there. You want to come with me? Okay, so we are in the back of the North Garden. Is that what we're calling this?
Yeah.
North Garden, yeah.
This is the crescent bed.
Yes, it is very much so a crescent. We're thinking, I don't know, Aaron, if you move more, is that where it gets shade in the afternoon? I think that's a good spot.
Yeah.
This tree's having some struggles. It's a sensation box elder, and something is afflicting all of our box elder trees in this area. And nobody can figure out why.
Well, this one wasn't all that well cared for, I don't think either.
Sure. It's got a couple of limbs that need to come out, but yeah, I think this is a good spot, Aaron. And then we can kind of develop around it. It'll be a little bit more focal than getting lost out in the Dirtlands.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. You're gonna mark the spot. X marks the spot. Perfect. Let's get it done. All right, there it is, looking beautiful. Oh, I love the little cones. I think it's gonna be happy where it's at too. Yeah. Don't you think so? Yeah. It's gonna be, you know, under the shelter or in the shelter. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It's gonna be in the shade. of this tree in the afternoon, which large trees in our area can benefit from that, especially until they're established. So anyway, I think it's just going to be a really good placement. It's not equally spaced between this one and this one, which kind of makes my eye twitch in the very beginning. But this is a London plane tree and these get massive. So in the end, this tree is going to take up so much space that having this one over a little bit is a better idea in the long run. And we can start filling in with some shrubs and other things in this area. But I'm excited about this. Let me give you a close-up of these cones. They're just the cutest things. These would be really pretty, like hurricane fillers, you know, around Christmas time. Love it. And you can see the curvature of the trunk. So we made sure the bottom was straight, but as it goes up, it kind of does the twisty thing, and it's just meant to do that. That's how it grows. But I like that it's more upright than not. So it gives you that vertical presence while still having this nice, different, unique architectural vibe to it. All right, so that is it for tree planting. The sun went behind a cloud. It actually feels quite nice out here right now, but we need to get our stuff together so we can start that Blackberry cheesecake ice cream. All right, we're going to start off by making our Blackberry Swirl first. So we are going to take 4 cups of these beautiful blackberries and toss them in one of our I think it's a quart-sized pot, which has seen better days. I will be shopping for a new set after I'm done with this project. I'm also going to add 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So we just combine all of those together. Then you just simmer them on medium heat until it looks like the berries are starting to break down a little bit or soften up. At that point, you can start using like a potato masher, or like I'm using a meat tenderizer thing. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but anyway, I'm using that to mash the berries up. And then once the mixture has thickened up, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll want to run that whole mixture through a fine mesh sieve. That way you get rid of all of the, centers of the blackberries and the seeds. Then you'll want to refrigerate it. Then to make our cheesecake custard, we're going to start off with 1 8-ounce brick of cream cheese. This is at room temperature. We're going to beat that with a hand mixer until it's fluffy and smooth, and that's in its own bowl. And then in another bowl, we're going to whisk 5 egg yolks together and just set that aside. And then in a medium saucepan, I'm using the same one I used for our Blackberry Swirl. I just washed it prior. I'm going to combine 3 cups of heavy whipping cream and 2/3 cup of sugar. And I'm going to put this over medium-high heat and stir it until it just starts to bubble around the edge. You want to keep a close eye on it because it can go to boiling really fast and you don't want to scorch this mixture. Once you can start to see those bubbles, reduce the heat to medium and then pour 1/4 of this hot cream into your whisked egg yolks. You'll want to whisk constantly when you're doing this so that you avoid scrambling up your eggs. And then slowly add another 1/4 cup of the cream into the egg mixture. And then add all of that egg mixture back into the saucepan with the remaining cream. And you'll stir this until it starts to thicken. It takes about 10 minutes. And you can tell it's at the right stage if you dip a spoon in and then run your finger over the back part of the spoon. If the mixture doesn't run into that little line you just made and it stays kind of put, then it's done. I also like to run this whole mixture through a fine mesh sieve to make sure that any eggs that may have scrambled, it does happen sometimes, you can remove anything like that by running it through a sieve. Then I placed a bowl of our custard mixture in an ice water bath and just kind of let it sit for a while until it came to room temperature. Once it did, I added our teaspoon of vanilla, whisked it together, and then popped it in the refrigerator. And it stayed in the refrigerator for about 6 hours. It was good and chilled. And once it had fully chilled, I popped it out of the fridge, put it in our ice cream maker, and ran that for about 20 to 25 minutes, somewhere right in there. It was kind of at that soft ice cream stage. And it's really easy at that point to get it out of the ice cream churn and into a container that I then popped in the freezer overnight. Okay, it's the next day. I need to make our graham cracker crumb layer first. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of melted butter. To that, I will add 1 cup of graham cracker crumbs and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'll just fluff that around with a fork until it's well combined. So at this point, I just need to get all of my stuff out. I need to get my Blackberry Swirl layer, the graham cracker crumb layer. I went ahead and bought a pre-made cheesecake so that I could cut that up into little chunks and sprinkle into the layers of the ice cream and then of course the ice cream itself. For assembly, I'm going to take a loaf pan, put some of our cheesecake custard at the bottom, then our graham crackers, then our cheesecake crumbles, and then a little bit of our Blackberry Swirl. And then I'm just going to layer all of that one more time. So ice cream, graham crackers, cheesecake, and then a generous helping of the Blackberry Swirl on top. I'm going to cover it again and put it in the freezer for 4 more hours. Okay, Monica has come up from work for a break this afternoon to try this out. So
I'm so excited to try this.
Look at that. It looks good. Hopefully, I probably should have softened it a little bit.
Are those all the pieces of cheesecake?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
We're gonna try this ice cream. You want to try it too?
Is Monica going to stay here for a while?
I'm just a little while. I'm going to try some ice cream before I have to go back to work.
All right, I'm gonna get you close on this. Okay, here we go.
So you're going to close up in a few minutes.
Yeah, not too long.
Oh my word! You're seeing that? Oh,
It looks so pretty.
so there's 2 layers. I was meant to do 3, and then I got carried away.
Is it 3:30 when you close?
5:30.
5:30. And it's 3:05, so you still have a while.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try some
You
too. Maybe like a little chunk.
Thank
You want a
you.
little bit? Okay.
Just a little, and then I'll taste it and see how it tastes.
Can I dig right in?
Yes.
Just a little.
Like that much?
If I don't like it, let's see.
It's so creamy.
Yum.
I'm gonna make myself a bowl.
Oh, that's a winner.
Well,
And that fresh blackberry puree,
yeah.
like you can tell it tastes fresh. It just
Tasted like jam. I was licking the not whisk, spatula.
is it cheesecake flavored ice cream?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like way more so much more depth than just vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
I ate a bite and I kind of liked it.
You kind of liked it?
I liked it actually. Not just kind of.
I accidentally used a little more graham crackers than I meant to.
Oh, I like that though. And they get kind of soft in there.
Good.
I like it a lot.
Stuff's tasty.
But I'm such a cheesecake fan. Winner.
So you can see all the layers here. The cheesecake custard, graham cracker crumbs, and the blackberry swirl right down in there, and cheesecake crumbles, another layer of the custard, and then a repeat of everything. So you can see like this right here is a cheesecake crumble, and then all that yummy sauce on the top, and it's kind of like a little bit tart. Like it brings a little tartness to that cloyingly sweet.
But it's like the other
balances
part
it.
is really rich, so you need that.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect balance.
Oh,
I love it. I would eat this any day.
makes for a pretty presentation in the bowl too, especially if you sprinkled a few fresh blackberries in there. That'd be extra pretty. All right, guys, so that is it for our projects for the last couple of days. Monica and I just were able to sit inside, enjoy the air conditioning. It's 100 degrees out today. Perfect day to try out some ice cream, and it ended up really tasty. There's not really anything I would change about it. Maybe, sprinkling if you were, wanting to make it extra fancy for guests or whatever, you could put some fresh blackberries on the top of it or to the side of it. I think that would be pretty, but it's not any recipe that I was following in particular. It was kind of a whole bunch of recipes because sometimes when you read through one and you kind of can gauge whether or not it's going to work. I kind of kept doing that. I kept reading tons of different recipes I was finding and ended up just kind of putting something together that I think worked great. So I will go inside, I will type it up, and we'll put it down in the description box of this video so you can see what I did, and then you can make any adjustments that you might want to make with it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.